Hey Bees, I'm Marie from Humblebee and Me, and today I thought we would take a little bit of time to just chat about some productivity aids and tools that I really like, and I also want to hear about yours because now that it's a new year, I know a lot of New Year's resolutions are focused around being more productive and making more efficient use of your time, or at least mine are. So I thought I would share some of the things that I use that help me run my blog and my business and keep my life in order. And I'd also really love to hear some of the things that you guys find useful because I can always use more help in this area. Before we dive in, I wanted to chat about my makeup for a quick moment. So I was so excited to see a couple weeks ago that Lisa Eldridge got Tina Earnshaw onto her YouTube channel to share the makeup tutorial for Rose's look from Titanic. So Tina Earnshaw was the makeup artist for Titanic, the makeup designer. And so she did the tutorial, and so it really gets the quintessential Rose makeup tutorial. And so I, of course, had to watch that straight away, and I wanted to play with it today. So I didn't follow the tutorial completely because it's a really, really high coverage makeup look, and I'm not a huge fan of that, but I did have a lot of fun sort of doing it to like the best of my abilities, and yeah, mostly using my makeup. So I will throw a link to this tutorial in the description box below because it's wonderful and you should check it out. And yeah, I feel very sort of like Rose-esque today. Something I've really learned about myself is to-do lists keep me motivated as well as organized, and they help me not feel panicked about things that I have to do, about responsibilities, because I know that sort of when it's in my to-do list, at least I won't forget about it, right? And I can prioritize. And so there's a couple tips that I've found really work for me with to-do lists. The big one is like, put everything on your to-do list. Duh. The second one is put some quick wins on your to-do list. Sometimes if it's just one of those days, there's like, I don't know if I can get anything done, but I know I need a shower. Take a shower on your to-do list, and then like at least you can check something off, right? But one of the things that I have on my to-do list, I've got 3 recurring every single day weekday tasks, which are reply to a set number of blog comments, YouTube comments, and emails. I have far more of those things than I can ever sort of reasonably attend to in any given day, and I used to find it really overwhelming because I would look at the massive pile and I go, oh goodness, like I can't do that all today, so I just won't, which obviously makes things worse. So now I can start my day by replying to those set number of blog comments and emails and YouTube comments, and sometimes, I'll get on a roll and I'll do sort of more than the set number, but it means I can kick my day off with 3 check marks, and then that sort of helps usher in a day of productivity, in theory at least. It helps, I promise. And then the other one is dividing big tasks down into smaller tasks so that even if you don't finish the big thing, at least if you've made progress on it, like you can kind of reward yourself with a couple check marks. I find check marks very rewarding. If they are not rewarding for you, I don't think this is gonna work for you. But basically, the more check marks I get to make as I work, like the happier and more motivated I am. So I will break it down so that a blog is like big blog post, but then also develop the recipe, make the recipe, take the pictures, write it out, schedule it, make the email, and then even if in a given day I wanted to do the whole thing, but I just kind of get the first 3 done, at least I can make 3 check marks, right? So woohoo, check marks! There are obviously tons of ways to manage a to-do list, everything from scraps of paper and a pen to fancy apps. So Apple products come with a default reminders app product thing, and I last year stopped using that and upgraded to something called Todoist. This isn't an ad for them, but I have been very happy with their product. So there's some really neat things that I really like about Todoist. Adding tasks is really intuitive. It'll parse terms like tomorrow or every day out of your task as you're typing it in, and it will kind of smartly create that, which I really like. You can create projects and sub-projects, and then within the projects you can create tasks and you can create subtasks. You can also attach documents to tasks and have comments back and forth because you can collaborate with people. So this is brilliant if, like for me in my graphic design freelance practice, I can invite my clients to a project That's their project, and they can add to-dos to my to-do list, and I can add to-dos to their to-do list. If I need things, I can assign tasks back to them. I can upload comps to a project. If it was like an advert or an email, I can upload a design comp for it. They can leave feedback right in the task, and we can go back and forth on it before sort of mutually agreeing that it's done. So that's also been great. I found it to be a really wonderful software, and it's a little gamified, so it kind of rewards you when you make, when you've achieved a certain number of things each day. So that's also, woohoo, fake rewards. I signed up for Evernote ages ago and never really started using it until recently. And I really like it because it's basically just the way that I handle paper, but without all the pitfalls of the way I handle paper. Because as a millennial, I don't like paper. I don't want paper bills. I don't want a paper version of something if I can avoid it. But I still get a lot of them, and I find paper to be really overwhelming and annoying, and I don't have a filing cabinet. Maybe I should, but I tend to just let paper accumulate, and then when I need it, it's this like, oh, shoot, kind of moment. So the beautiful thing about Evernote is that I can scan the documents with my phone and then shred them. But Evernote actually digitizes the content of the documents, so I can search for things. So if I'm searching for like my mobile phone contract, it'll actually comb through the scan of it, and it can read it, and it will find it for me, and that has been amazing. And then I also use it for a ton of content planning and blog writing because it works across all of my devices and syncs really nicely. I used to use the default Notes app from Apple, but again, I found that it really didn't, it's not as robust. It doesn't do document sort of scanning and digitizing, but also it just didn't sync as well. So I sort of found that if I was creating a formula on my computer and then went to make it in the kitchen and was then referring back to my iPad, I'd often end up with two different versions of the file because Notes would get confused and like, I don't know what to do with it. Whereas that's never happened to me with Evernote, so I think that's really neat. Again, not a paid advertisement for Evernote at all, but it's pretty cool. Another upgrade that I made last year was moving away from the default sort of Mac Mail app to Airmail, which is a paid app. Again, not an ad for them at all, but it's much slicker and much nicer looking, I found. But two of the things that I really use with Airmail is their to-do function and their auto filters. So I've gone in and set up a ton of filters to help my inbox automatically recognize the types of emails that I get and file them away so that I don't have a huge inbox full of absolutely everything. It means that I can go into my mailing list, and that's where I'll find, most of like the ads and marketing emails from companies that I've signed up for. I've set it up so that anything that looks like a reader email goes into my to-do box. So beautiful thing about Airmail is that you can actually just mark emails as a to-do, and then they go into your to-do box, and then it's like a to-do list of emails, which is, I love to-do lists, so this is great. And I can go in there, and when I'm looking for emails to reply to as part of my to-do list task of replying to emails, I know where they are. This is amazing. This is a huge problem for me before I switched over to Airmail, is that I would say, okay, I'm going to reply to some reader emails, and then I'd just be like, there's a swamp of emails in here, and I just get overwhelmed and be like, never mind, tomorrow's fine. So this has been a much better system for me. Okay, well, that's how I'm getting things done these days. I'd love to hear about how you get things done. What are your tips and tricks? Do you swear by getting something done before breakfast, or getting up really early, or like seizing the moments of productivity and staying up until whatever hour, no matter the consequences, so that you can get things done? Like, what works for you? And if you have other, like, even better productivity apps and softwares and things that you'd like to share with me, like 100% comment about them. I would love to check them out. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, check the description box below for links to things. And again, none of this is sponsored. I just think that these are useful things. And yeah, I'll see you next time.